Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: which fictional character's death have you not gotten over? Boromir. When I first watched LOTOR, I couldn't have cared less when Boromir died. He was arrogant, not as cool as anyone else, and dangerously drawn to the ring. However, as I've gotten older, I find myself connecting with Boromir more with every watch. He clearly cares deeply for the other members of the Fellowship. Unfortunately, he also feels the weight of responsibility for his people, and the pressure from his father. The ring fed into that torture squadron, and nearly drove him mad. The scene where he comes to his senses after driving Frodo off is heartbreaking now. So horrified at what he'd done. So vulnerable, so human. And despite believing that he had doomed the world, he threw himself into protecting that which he could still reach, the other hobbits. Everything he had, including his life. And his last moments with Aragorn, oof. The love and pride that bursts from him. Boromir is a great character. I would have followed you. My brother. Mike from Breaking Bad. Involved in a bad life but the love for his granddaughter. Heartbreaking. That's why I love Better Call Saul. I watched Breaking Bad all in one binge. I'm so glad they made Better Call Saul so I can watch it and now look forward to the finale season. Brooks from The Shawshank Redemption. The worst thing was how real it was. Knowing that this happens to people a lot. Dear fellas, I can't believe how fast things move on the outside. I saw an automobile once when I was a kid, but now they're everywhere. The world went and got itself in a big damn hurry. The parole board got me into this halfway house called The Brewer and a job bagging groceries at the Foodway. It's hard work and I try to keep up, but my hands hurt most of the time. I don't think the store manager likes me very much. Sometimes after work, I go to the park and feed the birds. I keep thinking Jake might just show up and say hello, but he never does. I hope wherever he is, he's doing okay and making new friends. I have trouble sleeping at night. I have bad dreams like I'm falling. I wake up scared. Sometimes it takes me a while to remember where I am. Maybe I should get me a gun and rob the Foodway so they'd send me home. I could shoot the manager while I was at it, sort of like a bonus. I guess I'm too old for that sort of nonsense anymore. I don't like it here. I'm tired of being afraid all the time. I've decided not to stay. I doubt they'll kick up any fuss. Not for an old crook like me. P.S. Tell Hayward I'm sorry I put a knife to his throat. No hard feelings. Brooks. Brooks was here. I doubt they'll kick up any fuss, not for an old crook like me. Ned Stark. I was so shocked when they actually did it. The moment I realized this isn't going to be like all the other movies / shows. Edit. To all of the replies, I'm not that familiar with the actor so I couldn't see it coming. Exactly. At that exact moment I knew I was in for a ride. Vala Morgulis. Leslie Burke from Bridge to Terabithia. This one fucked me up as a kid. I was depressed for days. As a teen, I rented a DVD from the local store. It was very common to find cheap rentals of bootleg movies in India at the time. The label on the DVD clearly said Arya but it turned out to be this movie. I felt terrible for days after having watched it. Edit. Just realizing how many of you poor souls were traumatized as a child by a group of bootleggers who mistook Bridge to Terabithia for the Chronicles of Arya, Prince Caspian. R.I.P. Guess I'm getting too old. Littlefoot's mom yo. Probably the saddest kids movie death ever. It was way too much. I felt like I lost my own mom that day. Always wanted to eat a tree star. The way Spike eats the big circle of weeds. I wanted to eat grass like that as a kid. What was his name? Wash. The pilot in Firefly. Hober Washbury. Came here looking for this. I am a leaf on the wind, watch how I saw. Wash. Pilot of the Serenity. 2 seconds later. Damn it Wash, what are you doing? I'm a leaf on the wind. What does that even mean? This is why that will always be one of my favorite films. What killed me was Zoe's response to Kaylee's question. The crack in her voice when she says Wash ain't commie just breaks my heart. She's been a widow for all of 2 minutes, but she's a damn soldier and has to hold it together to get her people to safety. Then after the battle when Mal asks how Zoe's doing, but he pretends he's talking about the ship. Mal, think she'll hold together. Zoe, she's tore up plenty, but she'll fly true. Rumuslupi and Infedora Tonks. They deserved a good life. So did Fred. And Dobby. Aubrey Martel. Oh god, his death was one of the worst in the entire series. I don't think there was any point during the series at which I was so angry. One of the few things I enjoyed in the travesty of a finale was when he tried to kill his brother the same way, and failed. I mean, the Hound still died, but I count it as his win. One of the few subplots that finished nicely in my opinion. Who's from Full Metal Alchemist, I really liked him. His Japanese VA apparently also died from cancer this year. It's a terrible day for Rain. The funeral gets me every time. Maudie Solus. Had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong. I made a mistake. First time in the series he used the word I. His work on the geophage fucked him up so much he had to detach himself from his work completely. My work. My cure. My responsibility. Had to be me. The sniper from Saving Private Ryan. He was a guy that was doing his absolute best and gave it his all. When the tower was bombed that he was in, my heart sunk, but that's war. Edit. Thank you all so much. Thank you for sharing all of your stories too. I've been sitting in bed reading them all morning. The first time I watched Saving Private Ryan, it was in my sophomore year in history class and I cried. All of the deaths in that movie were heartbreaking. I thought the medic was worse when they ask him tell us how to fix you and then he cries out for his mom. Are any of them bleeding worse than the others? Yeah, this one down here. Oh my god. My liver. The recognition on the actor's face is just heartbreaking. My horse in Red Dead 2. Rest in peace, Ivory. Thank you. Anyone who has finished the game knows the impact of this very simple line. Rip Damocles. Yodu from Guardians of the Galaxy. They had to kill Yodu, otherwise the Battle of Wakanda would have been over in seconds. I cry every time I watch that bit. He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy. One of the best lines out of the whole MCU. Fred Weasley from Harry Potter, and Greed from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Don't forget Hedwig. She barely even got a paragraph before they forgot her. And Dobby. I was so broken by Dobby's death that I had to put down the book and walk away for a bit. You mention Greed and not Maze Who's. Terrible day for Rain. What about Nina? FMA had a bunch of sad deaths. David Tennant as Doctor Who. I don't want to go. I loved Matt Smith too, don't get me wrong, but I still shed a few tears anytime I watch that episode. Sorry, my nerdy self can't let it pass that I called him Doctor Who instead of the Doctor. I have brought shame on my household. Well, the Doctor's been credited as Doctor Who in the past, so you're in the clear. For me it was the 9th Doctor. And how he had to explain to Rose what was going on, that he took too much energy in to survive, just when they were falling in love. Oh. And before I go. Don't say that. Rose. Before I go, I just wanna tell you you were fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And you know what? Rose shakes her head. So was I. Dee-woo-woo-woo-woo-woosh. I can do so much more. So much more. The wife from Up. Yeah, damn, that movie didn't waste any time in tearing your heart out. Man, fuck this thread. Asterisk keeps reading asterisk. Arthur Morgan. And Lenny. Fuck, I miss Lenny. YL. Honestly, Hosier's death was the most heartbreaking for me. It all went downhill from when he died. The horse. The fucking horse. When he went back for the horse to thank it. It broke me. Lu Ten, Uncle Ira's son. Avatar: The Last Airbender. While we didn't see his death firsthand, I felt like I was mourning a son of my own when Ian sang that song. Still tears me up. Apparently Mo had his diagnosis by the time he recorded that episode. It feels so raw and real because the emotion fueling it really is. Well, that is wonderful trivia that makes things even more sad. The best thing they did with Xra was name a character after him. The picture he pulls out in the episode is an artist rendition of Mo when he was a young man in the army. John Coffey, from The Green Mile. Please don't put the mask on me, I'm scared of the dark. BT-7274. Edit, as quite a few have mentioned below. We could technically argue BT isn't dead due to the binary message at the end of the master campaign. But, we all know we lost a part of ourselves at the end of that game. Protocol 3, protect the pilot. Trust me. There's a hint post-credits that he uploaded himself into Jack's helmet, so there may be hope yet. Assuming Titanfall 3 ever gets made. I was so glad when I found out about that binary message. I need a Titanfall 3.